Good. I'm welcoming everybody. Before that, I will of course also welcome the people over from Release Family. I want also to stick that on it. Welcome to a very special episode of the Bisicast, and for the people over on Release Family, to a very special review of the new third-party album called Together. It's a bit more formal than usual because I want actually to do something a bit more. I don't know how to phrase this. A bit more formal for once. I love the album personally a lot. I will also review it a bit as an editor for Release Family over on Facebook. And yeah, welcome of course all the people on Instagram. And I will upload this later on to YouTube. I hope that you'll enjoy it. Some of you may saw it already on Instagram or on Facebook that I really made up some notes. So this is something that I usually don't do for any Bisicast, but this time I believe it was appropriate for doing this. So this is actually how it looks like. So it's really 3 pages. Actually, I copied some of the lyrics that I will also read to you. So I really wanted to do something very special with this, as I really love the album. And of course, I will say it already in the beginning, there will be also some criticism, rather towards the end, because, well, you might think that the album is perfect or so when I, say this is good or that is good, but it is not 100% perfect. Nothing is 100% perfect in art, I would say. Everybody has its own opinion about certain developments, about certain things. Yeah, and that's why let's start off. I hope that Johnny and Harry or any of the teams at Third Party will watch this. I would be very thankful, and I'll be interested in what they think of my opinion about certain tracks. We're starting off with the track Higher. This is the first track of the album. So the album consists of 9 tracks. It was dropped on March 15th, so that was last Friday, and it is the second album of Third Party after Hope that was released around 2 years ago. I still have the CD somewhere there that I got once by the boys, so very thankful for that. And maybe before I start properly, one thing about the style in general. So it's uplifting progressive house, and this style, I would say, it's rare nowadays. So I'm happy to still hear such a high quality of this kind of music, because it's rare nowadays. So it had its heights around 2012 when Swedish House Mafia were very popular with this style, and so nowadays it's very little people besides Third Party that do that. Some maybe here and there, but they don't get much attention. So also when it's about me, I'm usually also looking for a style like this, usually in my preparations for other Bisicasts, but it's also usually mediocre, not that high quality like with Third Party. So I just asked myself, where is Swedish House Mafia when you need them, right? So yeah, so that's maybe a few words for the introduction, and now let's go over to Higher. So the album consists of 9 tracks, I've already mentioned, and Higher is one of 4 tracks of the album that weren't released beforehand. So maybe when I actually start off from the beginning a bit, so it starts very atmospheric, with small vocal FXs, we can hear it in the background, that then builds up into this take me higher vocals. And these certain FXs have in the drop have a certain pride of feeling to them, so when we actually head over there. And yeah, I will also label this on YouTube as a evolution in sound design, because it is very unusual to have basically it's what I want to say. It's very nice to see that there's a development of Third Party sound, and I would call it a bit more mature. So when we take for example this track as an example, Higher, and we actually hear these kind of Prida vibes also with the FXs in the background, it sounds a bit it sounds very euphoric. I like the track a lot, and there are several synth layers that we can hear in the background. So yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot. Of course, you are welcomed to tell me your opinion about the certain tracks that I will drop. Maybe before I do that, I will maybe drop a comment where you can get all the different links. So I believe this is on Third Party's page. Yeah, of course, welcome all the people that are watching over also on Release Family. I'm very thankful if you're watching and enjoying this review with me. So everybody's always welcome to tell me your opinion about it, and what do you like about the album, what you don't like. And yeah, I'll be very thankful to know it, so we can have also a little bit of interaction here. And it's not only about myself. Yeah. So you can also hear in the second part of the first drop, there's another layer added in there. And the notes are actually also a bit inspired by Prida, which is actually nice because they take something, they get inspiration from Eric Prydz that is not releasing as much music anymore, at least not over the last year. And yeah, and they kind of use it for themselves. They make something new, something fresh out of themselves, something that fits their style. So I'll also talk more about Eric Prydz later on. So, and I love how the different layers, you know, fit together. Even when they break it down now at 3 minutes here on the first track, you can hear they really, you know, took the effort and yeah. And you know, I love how when it, you know, then you know goes into these uplifting breakdown. So, I'll just maybe drop the link here. This is not a good idea to drop this link. I totally forgot that it's actually very tough to copy a certain link from Facebook, which is a bit sad, because I would like to have the short link, not the long one. Take me high. I just simply love how they, you know, put all the vocals together. Unfortunately, we don't. When it's about this track, we don't know the vocalist. So yeah, this is a bit unusual. Well, except maybe for Avicii, because where that was normal. But yeah, but actually there are not many actually, you know, vocalist mentions, I would say. But actually, we know something from the You Beat interview that they conducted with our friends from Italy, and yeah. I'm actually, I'll actually show you, I will talk about this later as well. So yeah, Higher, also we heard the last drop of the 3 layers, they all perfectly fit together, very melancholic feel, that actually shows on different tracks of the album. So also I love the atmospheric end there, so all in all, great introduction to the album, and you know, edges us, you know, for more, we want to hear more. And more is actually a nice word to get to the next track. This is called Free. Yeah, so Free was the first single of the album that was released in on June 1st last year, 2018. And when it's about the general track, I would say that it is my favorite from last year. One of my favorites in general, so all of the releases that I kind of mentioned or whatever, actually. And yeah, so I remember that the first listening in full quality was really unreal. So I had this fantastic euphoric feeling on the drop, and of course when it's about the vocals, we'll talk about this here as well. We will have I would put it this way, I knew the vocal from my childhood. So the first time I heard this vocal was on Bob Sinclair's track Sound of Freedom. And the original is by Rosala, and it's called Everybody's Free to Feel Good from 1991. So let's check out the drop. I love, you know, how the melody, you know, the melody progression. This is actually what it makes it so uplifting. So what Third Party is so good at it is actually that they really, you know, can create these wonderful melodies that fit absolutely great with the synthy. And you know, create this uplifting feel together also with the album. With the vocals. So especially here, then in the breakdown that we're gonna hear right now. Small insider info: the vocal on this track is by Max McElligott, you will know more about him. I believe over the course of the next week or something, because it's going to be one of our release family facts, upcoming release family facts. So, sorry, we found something very interesting about Max McElligott, who wrote also vocals here and also singing on this one. So yeah, so I have the vocals here. There are, I believe, about moments spending together, and what I love so much about the title and all this is that being together and love is a common thread on this album. And yeah, you know, when he's talking about, because we've seen 1,000 sunsets and we've chased 100 nights and we forget these moments, tonight we're going back, just close your eyes. So it's really about being together, even when we say goodbye. So this is maybe important. So my favorite part of the track, when I actually go a bit back, is actually when the breakdown is over and they build the anticipation for the build-up. And when these synths came back, when I heard it for the first time, that was an amazing feeling. So I loved it so much. I had such a euphoria, you know. And one of these moments, you know, when you realize why you're listening to electronic music. It's one of these, you know, very emotional moments when, you know, you just listen to your favorite music and you know why. I just love the melody, it's absolutely wonderful. And yeah, also the extended mix on this is also very good that I have it, and you know, for playing for DJs. So yeah, absolutely fantastic track, one of my favorites on the album. I'll leave my second favorite, I would say, after one that I liked a bit more, when we like take the whole album into context, not only the single releases, but also like the whole album, and then it breaks down. So what I like a lot, actually, that although those are album tracks, not really, you know, to mix them, especially like in this edition, I mean, free is also available as an extended mix, is that they don't just stop the track, but really, you know, take the time to let the vocal, the synthes fade out, and this is actually something I believe very rare, especially in today's electronic music. So this is a great concept for the album. Yeah, and they did this, you know, similarly already on Hope. So this is nothing new, but it's, you know, great to stress that. Yeah, up next, this is the third track of the album. This is called Together. No, sorry, it's Remember. Sorry, Together is number 4, and number 3 is Remember. So let's play this one. Yeah, this is this was also released as a single beforehand. It was the 4th single of the album that was released in December last year, and as you know from our release family facts, you may know that the vocalist on this track is Harry. So it's really Harry bass, one of the guys from Third Party. And yeah, it's actually a surprise that Harry's on the vocals. And when it's about the style, I would say it's very similar to Free. And yeah, I want actually to pin my comment now. I want to see that. Yeah, and I like the small reverb on the synth. We will hear it in the background on the drop. If you want to hear, should this build up? Oh, Sabrina, it's your favorite one. This is interesting to know. So yeah, it's very euphoric. I love this small reverb that's on the synth. I'm sure that there are several layers, but you know, it's still actually very, very nice. So it's very euphoric feeling. It's similar to Free, but I prefer Free. So it's maybe my number 3 or number 4, I would say. Yeah, but yeah, it's very enjoyable still. So absolutely. So we hear this this you made me feel so good inside. So it's again about love, I would say, and spending time together. I would say this is also very important. Yeah, world of love, you can't replace. Eyes wide shut, but I still see your face. So, eyes wide shut, but I still see your face. This is actually a very nice wording here, I would say. So, what did he say then? Yeah. And I will always remember, of course, an important vocal. So I like this track for, you know, giving the vocals some space to breathe. And you make me feel so good inside. So because, you know, well, this is very usual in nowadays music that the vocals take up a lot of space. But yeah, in that case, you know, they can't do wrong with this style. So the key is also nicely put. So it's absolutely a great production for third party. Let's hear it drop again. Beautiful melody. Enjoyed it a lot. This one was also available as an extended mix, as far as I remember. But I'm not sure whether it's that much longer. But yes, it's only about the album today, or tonight, so that's actually why I want to focus more on the album as it was released. Osvaldas is watching, thank you so much for joining. Myra as well, here on my Facebook. Yeah. Yeah, and up next, the fourth track on the album is called Together, as already mentioned. And this was the second track on the album from out of the 9 tracks that was not released beforehand. So it was kind of a surprise. Actually, we knew the track already before. But yeah, the track was played as the intro track for the live event, or Together live event in Liverpool last month that I attended, where I also got this beautiful long sleeve t-shirt that I mean for winter especially, I prefer long sleeves. And yeah, I was actually very thankful when I saw that they have one, which is only small, but I don't really care too much. It's still fitting somehow. Every time we've been together, when we are together. And I believe from what I hear from the vocals, when I know that Remember was sung by Harry, then Together must also be sung by Harry. It sounds very similar in voice, so correct me when I'm wrong, but I love, you know, this beautiful, a bit trancey city, I would say. And actually what I wrote, I made up some thoughts about it, and when I actually compare it, so when you compare, for example, with Remember, this is a more complex melody, but not only that, it's a bit chillier, not so present in the mix, I would say, and yet still a third-party signature track. So especially when you compare it with Higher, yeah. So it's very similar in style. Yeah, I love the snare there. Actually, I'm a huge fan of snares when they are set properly. So yeah. So it's actually very surprising that although with a bit chillier sound, I would say, not as uplifting as, for example, Remember, it's still a third-party signature track. So this is very interesting. Yeah, and we will hear in the background usage of the vocoder. So we know vocoder probably mostly from Daft Punk, I would say. And we can already hear it a bit here. And yeah, and when I actually remember the sounds that I'm hearing, then this reminds me a bit of old Anjuna beats. So from around 2009, 2010. So for example, RT, Mezzo, those are like the guys where they used to produce this kind of sound, but not, you know, not as quickly. A bit of a different swim when it's about the atmosphere. It kind of reminded me of that. Yeah. So, but you know, when it's, I don't care if it's for a track like Remember or Together. I like both of them, and both of them fit very well for the live shows. So you could hear that very well in Liverpool when you attended. Or also when it's about, for example, the live show last year, which was live streamed on their Facebook, so it was also very very similar. Yeah, the lyrics to this one are "'Cause we find in the night the light that never fades every time that we're together." So yeah, so this is basically, I believe, the name-giving track of the album. And yeah, it's absolutely wonderful that I believe Harry, when I listen to this, is also singing on this. Yeah, and for party, actually, Sabrina, you're right, are coming to London next month in April for Ministry of Sound. We're together. Yeah, and at the end, we will have a fade out with a vocoder, also very interesting. So yeah, this one I would wish to have an extended mix. Maybe there will be one in the future. Yeah. Steve is watching over on Instagram. Thank you so much for joining. Join for the third party album review, track by track. So we're now at track 4 and going slowly into track 5 out of 9 tracks for this album. Yeah, and actually you can hear nicely that the vocoder is coming back now for the outro, basically, or for the ending of the track. Actually, you can still hear a cough a bit still, but it's not as much. Okay, so very interesting choice here to use the vocoder till the end, actually make it stronger and stronger towards the end, and then actually fade out slowly. Yeah. Okay, so those were 4 tracks. Up next, we have the 5th track of the album that is called Shadows. And Shadows is another track that was not released beforehand. And yeah, let's check it out. I believe you can't hear the ending of Together anymore, so let's head over to Shadows. And yeah, Shadows reminded me of a certain track. So yeah, this week we have a very special Bisicast episode. Depending on how much time I will have left, I'll also do a regular episode tonight, but I'm not sure yet. So depending on, actually I didn't time it, so I just wrote down what I think about the certain tracks, and then we'll see afterwards. Yeah, Shadows reminds me a bit, and also someone wrote this in a group on Facebook, of Nilo by Prida. So we can also hear another Prida reference or inspiration. And yeah, and this is another track of this major synth, a major synth that I actually already mentioned. And it goes a bit into, I would say, even progressive trance. But only a bit, not much. It's still house, but I don't know, it's about the synthy, you know? And the synth and snare definitely got these Prida feels. And I mentioned Prida already, and there is a huge Prida community on the internet, and there's also a Prida, or Eric Pritz subreddit on Reddit, and it's very interesting to look at the opinions of this subreddit. Yeah, Yasin, I'm not sure when I'm finished. I'm finished when I finish. So yeah, we'll see how long it will take. Yeah, the vocals are very simple. So there are only 2 lines of vocals on this track: shine on, shine bright, light up the shadows in the night. Even a rhyme here, and to me that sounds very fascinating. That there's a track built around so little vocals. Because usually we have either more vocals or none vocals at all, or just a shout, create a drop, or just one line that repeats all over the track. Or, for example, think about "So Much Love to Give" by Thomas Mangardier, who called himself, by the way, back then Together, which is very interesting to know. So a French house track, a filter house track. So, but this is something different, I would say. And here to only build a whole track around 2 lines is very fascinating to me. So, yeah. Yeah, René is watching. Thank you so much for joining. Here with Shadows. And I want actually to take a look on this subreddit. So the user named Sedon15 posted on this Eric Quick subreddit. Some of you guys may enjoy third party's new album, and some maybe said some liked it, some said that they hate it because wait, there was one very rude comment for more C-grade producers trying to sound like Prince, no thanks. So this was definitely something a bit of a rougher opinion. But also some say that Higher, Shadows, or then later on Midnight are very decent tracks with a pride of feel. Some say that it's uninspiring, so the opinions are very diverse. So some like it, some hate it, which is very interesting to have such a controversial community about maybe, I don't know, getting inspired by Pryda. But yeah, it's very tough, especially for me, but also I'm also a Pryda fan, but if there's so little releases by Pryda, it's very tough to like him a lot. So yeah, so as already mentioned, mixed reviews by the Pryda subreddit. And yeah, in general, it reminds me of Lilo, so it has definitely inspiration there. But they build up their own vocals, they did their own sounds, and yeah. So it was an absolutely fantastic track, and yeah, a bit of a surprise also when it's about the mature synthy, as I already called it. I like the term because mature means that there's an evolution of the sound, which is. Well, Stevie is asking whether I'm going to Ministry of Sound. I guess I'm not, especially because my main concern is Brexit now when it's about the UK. So I'm really sorry, but it's only 1.5 weeks left, and we don't know what's gonna happen. But I actually don't want to comment on this too much. I enjoyed very much Together Live in Liverpool, and I would really love to relive this again. It was a great experience, and for now I believe, for now it's enough, and and maybe I'll see them during summer somewhere. Up next we're having the second single release of the album that is called Midnight, and to me, let's give it a listen. To me, it's the most unexpected track on the album, so it's very unusual for third party to have a sound like this before. So for me, it was the first time that they had a bit of a darker sound. It still sounds kind of main room, I would say. So something that you could play. But then on the other hand, a sound like this is very unusual. So it's also a bit quieter. It's not as it's not so present in the mix, as I already mentioned. Like for example, the track Remember or Free. Yeah, and the vocals are also very simple. I want to hold you after midnight. I want to tell you the world about it. And yeah, I already mentioned this common thread of being together and love. And it's great that they, although in electronic music it's not so, especially in this style, to have very strong present vocals, that they really try to come up with a concept for the album. So, and I believe they mentioned to me once when I was talking to them that this was one of the ideas for an album. So about really being together worldwide. So yeah, we don't know the vocalist on this one, but I can recommend me. Yeah, 80s sound is actually what Stevie just mentioned on Instagram. It's very interesting. Yeah, absolutely. It reminds me a bit of the 80s, the old synthie pop stuff. Yeah, never thought of this. So thank you very much for this. Hannah is also over there watching on Release Family. Thank you so much for joining. One of two that stands out for me from the rest. Yeah, absolutely. Sound-wise, it's something totally different. So I believe that also, I would say that maybe either Together or Shadows is also a bit different from the rest. And yeah, so maybe when it's about my personal perception, it's also very interesting that most of the, I wasn't really sure what to think of this track when I heard it for the first time, because it was so unusual for third party, a sound like this, that it's sounding slow to me, but it's still on 128 BPM, so this is very fascinating to me. So it sounds slow, but it still has 128 BPM, so standard. This is very interesting. So yeah, and this track is a very great video with a dancer called Jordan Abbott, and this was one of our Release Family Facts, so definitely check out Instagram for all of our Release Family Facts. And this was Release Family Fact number 4. So yeah, but I believe it fits very well on the whole album. So when we take the tracks like Higher, Together and Shadows into account, it fits very well. So yeah, so that's definitely what I wanted to say about Midnight. And yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. Then later on I got used to the sound, and then actually I started also liking it. So it's not like that I hated it and then I said, you know, it's just unusual, but sometimes you get used to it. If it's sometimes maybe if it's a radical change, you don't get used to it. So you know, it's all you know, about up to somebody, you know, himself or herself to decide that. You know. Yeah, up next, number 7. So we are getting towards the end. Actually, I'm way faster than I thought I would be. But yeah, I heard the track. I heard all the tracks today. So you saw my post earlier, maybe on Instagram or on Facebook, that I really, you know, took the time to really come up with some thoughts, because I like the boys for years already. I support them. I'm part of Release Family proudly, of course. Still, I'm flying from Vienna to Liverpool to see them live. This is, I believe, I'm not sure whether I was the one that had the longest way there. No, I haven't. No. I cannot. I know one guy that even came there from further away. I cannot remember from where, but it was further away than Austria. Next up is the track "Come With Me." This was the third single of the album, and yeah, it was released on November the 9th in 2018, so last year. And yeah, it's another uplifting one, so it fits more into Free and Remember, I would say, and. We'll take a look on the vocals right now, live, so when it's played from now on. Put the vocals on your shoulders. So Come With Me, it's also about being together. And yeah, the vocals are very, you know, catchy, nice to sing. Because you know, if it gets colder, I will help you find a light. So yeah, so even if in the darkest hours there's somebody to hold on to, at least I believe the male persona in this on this track. So I believe it's also Harry singing, at least it sounds like it. Maybe I could be wrong, it could be somebody else, but it sounds kind of similar. Yeah, it's also offering, you know, to come with him and, you know, be together. Also beautiful, uplifting synthy, fits very well with Remember and Higher. Yeah, what are you saying, Hannah? I will talk about this at the end of the video. So I'll go through the 2 more tracks and then I will talk about this, what you said. Actually, I don't want to kind of react on it now because I have this planned. So let me just finish the tracks and then I'll go with a bit of maybe an unpopular opinion. Yeah. So, and I know, yeah, Hannah, I'm fine, except maybe this small little cough that is still there, but yeah. The vocals are beautiful to sing, and it was very emotional, you know, when they played it in Liverpool. And yeah, actually, I don't know, it's kind of, I have also the desire sometimes to be with somebody together, so actually it fits very well to my persona, or to my state right now, actually, very much. Yeah, well, actually, really, well, yeah, you know, everybody has its own opinion about it. It's just, you know, that I know them for a very long time, and I really want, usually, I don't know if I've put this so much into at the beginning of the video, but of the stream, I wouldn't do this for any other producer, I would say, or any other artist, because they, you know, mean so much to me, especially over the course of the last 2 years. So Yeah, that's why I took the effort this time. Yeah, it's like so beautiful. Like really, it has this uplifting feeling, and yeah, just it puts me into a state of euphoria. You know, some people, you know, get euphoric from big room, from trance, you know, uplifting trance, and for me, it's, you know, this classic, I would say, uplifting progressive, you know, that I fell in love with back with Avicii. So that's a long time ago. It was 8 years ago, so yeah. Bruno is over there on Insta. Thank you so much for joining. And also here they took the time for a little bit of a fade out, and yeah, and I'll have you find the light. Yeah. So actually, what we don't know about actually whether she or he really found the light, but yeah, this is, you know, well, to our own fantasy, up to our own fantasy. Yeah, exactly, Steven. They sampled on Midnight. I didn't do my research properly. Thank you so much. They sampled an 80s track, I believe. Yeah, that's correct. Actually, there are lots. I believe. Yeah, Falling. The next track is actually a cover, or we can say the track 3 was also a cover, and this one is actually the only one where we see a feature on the track. So Falling is the track featuring First State and Anita Kelsey, and the track actually is the 5th and last single that was released actually just the week before the release, so on March the 8th. So not even 2 years ago. 2 weeks ago, and this is a cover of the First State track from 2007. So 12 years ago. And the track was released on the label In Trance We Trust. And that was back then on 130 BPM. Maybe before we start to do this, I want to compare the original that was released in 2007 in November, and it sounds a bit like this. So when we actually take a look at the vocals, so it sounds, you know, very not really state of the art. But when we take a look at the vocals. Just remember the vocals, Fallen from Under the Sickness. And they are very similar to, actually roughly the same on the track by Third Party. So we can already hear in the background. Of course, I believe they were recorded from scratch. So this is a new recording of the vocals. And I could be wrong, but it sounds like it because the quality is a bit better. Yeah, Hector, I love Third Party as well. I'm so thankful for this album, and yeah. And I hope that you enjoy my review. And yeah, and I believe that they newly recorded the vocals and brought it up today, and they made it fit their style in a brilliant way. Absolutely. So when you hear this, then in the breakdown, then you probably know what I mean. So it's another of these, as I call, mature synthy tracks, but yeah, it just fits very well with their style. So. It's nice to see a slow or a little, evolution of the sound without not leaving your roots too much. So it goes a bit into progressive trance already, but I like both. Maybe not as equally, but I love progressive trance as well. So I don't really mind. So this is the when they have the slight change in style. Yeah, and this was definitely a very emotional one in Liverpool. So they also released the live video when they dropped it live there in Liverpool, and to watch this video and relive all these moments that I had there, all these emotions in Liverpool was absolutely amazing. So I would definitely want to go back there and to relive the night, because I'm not the youngest anymore, and it's very rare nowadays that I have such a strong emotional connection to a certain event or set. Yeah. And I believe when you listen closely to the vocals, I'm falling under your spell. Can't slow down now. And also falling under your spell is also about being together, and can't slow down now. So it means continue going together, and not slowing down. So this is now how I would interpret the vocals, you know. But I believe it's up to anybody's fantasy how to do this. Yeah. And I love the build up with the snares. This is absolutely one of my favorite part of the track next to the vocal, next to the drop. Building anticipation for a drop, maybe it sounds a bit, you know, it's very usual, even, you know, tracks are making fun out of it, but if it's done in a good way, then the euphoria, these two snares can be, you know, very strong. So actually very sad, I mean, not sad, but like, I'm a bit sorry that you can't really feel the emotions from myself. I believe I recorded a video, but I believe it was a different track. I believe it was not one of the new album songs. But usually I'm very emotional when it's about the music. But in that case, I want to stay as objective as possible, and you know, just want to say my opinion about it and compare it with their tracks and with, like, put it into context, you know, of the other album tracks, which is what I do today or tonight. Yeah. I love the ending of the tracks. It's very unusual that you have this. They really take the time to close down the track properly and not just, you know, make, you know, the last beat of the kick and the next boom and then the track is out. They really take those 30 seconds to really finish off the track. I like that a lot. Yeah, we are now at the last track, unfortunately. The track has only the album has only 9 tracks, but we'll talk about this after the last one. This is called Northern Lights. Northern Lights is the 4th and last track that wasn't released beforehand, so this was kind of a surprise. And yeah, Stephen, I'll talk now about Northern Lights, and it's the last track of the album, and to me, it is a fantastic ending. So, especially the beginning, it's my favorite track of the album. So, I like how it's built up, you know, in general. It's, I like, you know, how it starts with these vocal effects that we hear right now, then the atmosphere is coming in, this warm bass line. Yeah. Yeah, and the lyrics are, let's give the lyrics a listen. When I'm lost and headed nowhere, when I'm riding out of speed, yeah, I know when it's dark, you'll shine on me. When I face the wrong direction, you meet me in my dreams. In the sky, it turns from blue to shades of green. And when my fire's burning out, we shine like the Northern Lights. And I believe I can hear that I cannot sing it, you know, because it's I'm not there to sing. I'm just, you know, to get the lyrics, you know. And you said, when my heart is filled with doubt, we're shining like the Northern Lights. And when I hear it, you know, the vocals, it sounds again like Harry, I've already mentioned. And this is probably the only time that I will really enjoy the drop for myself, and then we'll tell you why I love it so much. So let's enjoy it. Yeah, so I heard the track for the first time in Liverpool actually. I didn't know of it before, and I was literally speechless. So I believe I was not in the front because I had to go to the bathroom once. Oh really? Nice to know. It's the face when you eat chocolate. Actually, I'm very careful with chocolate. I prefer Haribo Gold Bears. I don't know if you know them, but yeah, I haven't had such a live mindfuck, I would say, in a long time. So, to me, the track or the drop here is genuine because it's inspired by the melody of Alesso, If I Lose Myself. So the Alesso remix of If I Lose Myself by One Republic. So in my opinion, this is Alesso's best track that he ever created. And it has a similar build-up and a kind of similar melody of the drop, but you know, it's put in their own context. So, in a different context. So they really took the best out of it for themselves. So, yeah. And I believe that the lyrics are about Your Lovely One, and Your Lovely One is showing you're the right path once you lost track. So this actually, you know, about when my heart is filled with doubt, we shine like the northern lights. So it's about being together and, you know, spending time together and, you know, just when being together, you're on the right track. The last drop of the album. I love to sing the melody, you know, just a melody guy. Yeah. Last Impact, FX. And yeah, that's Third Parties Together, ladies and gentlemen. My absolute favorite track is the last one. So when I heard it for the first time, I was speechless. I loved it so much. And yeah, it fits of course together with tracks like Free or Remember on the album, or Come With Me. But with, you know, this kind of euphoria on the synthy, this melody that, you know, I kind of, it took me only a few moments to connect it with If I Lose Myself by Alesso. But, you know, they took the best out of it, they did their own thing out of it, and I love, you know, when people drop it into certain ideas into a new context. So we had, to compare this with something, usually when I hate an original and a producer is making a remix, of this original, when I hate the original and love the remix, then I love the remix some more. So I remember, for example, I was not a huge fan of Lovers on the Sun by Avicii and David Guetta, who actually Avicii was not mentioned on the track, and what Stadium X made out of it was absolutely amazing. I loved it. Really, and when they dropped it, you know, I always freaked out. They had 3 different drops, you know, a rougher one, 2 melodic ones, absolutely beautiful. Yeah. So, okay. Some of you may say, wow, cool, we can finish the stream, we love all the album, we're all happy, amazing, we're done. No, of course we aren't. So what could have been better about the album? So, of course not everything is perfect. So, some including myself miss a bit, and I believe Hannah already mentioned when she's still in, a bit rougher, so something a bit rougher. So you were mentioning Get Back. I also wanted to mention this. So when you compare this from the other album that was, I believe, released in 2017, and then we had, you know, when we listened to Get Back from 2 years ago, then we are missing a track like this, because Third Party are also good at this rougher, a bit darker progressive sound. So when we actually have a quick listen on this one, so that now that you know what I'm talking about, so yeah, so you can already hear that a sound like this is not present on the album. So and then actually they have these snares in the back. Yeah, it's very naughty. Get Back is very naughty, and absolutely, yeah. Especially this part, it's so wonderful. Actually, I didn't want to play too much of old stuff, but actually, yeah, Bassface, absolutely. I loved my Bassface back then when I enjoyed the track so much. I still enjoy it. I still occasionally listen to this. It's definitely my favorite. This rough. Actually, I love Collide as well. Collide was also a bit rougher with vocals. Yeah. And Hannah, what did you say else about it? Because actually, I wanted to listen to your to read your comment. Mm, yeah, I mean cheesy vocals. Yeah, I wouldn't say cheesy. I believe that they have a message. So I try to look on an album from the whole perspective, the whole piece, and they really try to have a common theme on the album, and I believe they did this very well. So of course, maybe a track like this, like Get Back, or and the style. I wouldn't fit on an album like Together, but actually we can have Together bass faces, right? Okay, maybe it could still work somehow, yeah. So why not? But maybe they wanted to stress that maybe a bit more. But actually, what I wanted to say is that there is a track currently by Third Party that I enjoy a lot that is not released, that could be perfect for a rougher sound like this. That is called Super Style, and actually it's a cover of, I believe, who produced Superstar? Groove Armada, I believe, back in the 90s. And this would have been perfect, And I want actually to play a rip now from what I usually don't do, but I believe just to have, that you have an idea. It was played, the track was played on at Don't Let Daddy Know Manchester, which was, I believe, also last year. At the end of last year, beginning of this year, I'm not sure. Maybe Hannah will know that. Yeah, and yeah, of course, the sing-along tracks are amazing, absolutely. Yeah, so as long as they have fantastic lyrics, of course, yeah, they are. So and they're great to listen to, and yeah, absolutely. Yeah, very similar, and yeah, but this is the question: is similar good or is it bad? I say it's a common theme, and for you, it's maybe similar. It's very tough, to find the right, the middle somewhere. So yeah, I want actually to play this. So it sounds like Third Party. I would say this is just like my opinion. Yeah, and there's also an idea that was played at the beginning of Don't Let Daddy Know in Manchester. Unfortunately, I guess I heard it once, but I can't remember exactly how it sounded like. But I actually want to play a Super Style in now. I just have to. You can actually hear it. Yeah, it starts off right now. In release radio number 11, there was actually a live rip from Don't Let Daddy Know Manchester. And if you actually listen to this. Love this acid synthy, and it's very rough and the snare. So when they had released that on an album, I believe we would all have been happy. So of course we don't know whether they couldn't clear the sample or they didn't feel to put it on it. So it's tough to say. We don't know. So maybe we'll ask them in an interview at one point. But yeah. It's absolutely a sick track. So check it out. Release radio number 11, live. Don't Let Daddy Know Manchester. So, and I believe they played it on Liverpool as well, on live. So sometimes they play, but they only played on the first drop, and there they played both drops. Now it fills up. We're having actually this release radio tag here, so you can hear that it's from release radio. Yeah. And then so we have the second drop. Yeah. So I would have loved to hear this on the album. I'm honest. Super styling. But maybe yeah. As I already mentioned, maybe they couldn't clear it, maybe they didn't feel like putting it on. Maybe they will answer. Maybe they'll tell us. Yeah, so this is maybe a small criticism here. Also, of course, when you compare to Hope, on Hope there were 11 tracks. On Hope there were 11 tracks, and on Together it's now 9 tracks. So it's of course less. Almost 20% less tracks, and of course this can have several reasons. Maybe they were focused on only these 9 tracks and not really on the amount of producing. So maybe they felt like, okay, those 9 tracks are good for like, or perfect or whatever for our standards. We love them. We can stand behind them. This is, important to know. Actually, for them it's important. Yeah. Hi Mauricio also as well over here on my Facebook. And then of course the last little criticism that I want to put on here is of course the release policy. So releasing 5 out of 9 album tracks beforehand, before the actual album release, is of course something that takes out the excitement, of course, a bit. Yeah. Of course, there were actually, we were talking about in certain WhatsApp groups about the album release and everything, and we believe that we are huge fans of this, of course. Then when there's so many tracks released and there were not that many surprises, but for myself, I gotta say that I liked Together and Northern Lights a lot. Both that were kind of a surprise for myself, and and I didn't really it didn't bother me too much then, especially with Northern Lights. So Northern Light it's my favorite track, and I didn't really care whether it was released or not before. So that was definitely a surprise. But of course, more tracks or less tracks released before that is of course would of course be good. Yeah, but So to finish it up now, it's only minor things. So in general, when it's about myself, and I believe also the whole Release family, we can speak about the whole Release family here. I'm very happy with Third Party Sophomore album, and of course it will be very interesting to continue, to see whether they will still continue with these mature tracks, as I call them. So with a synth that is maybe not as present in the mids, and sounds a bit like almost going a bit into progressive trance, and of course whether there'll be more rougher or dirtier tracks coming, like for example Get Back, Super Stylin', still waiting for it. Yeah, and what I also wanted to say is that they stated in an interview with U-Beat that there are collabs coming up, and it will be very interesting to see as well, because they mentioned in this U-Beat interview that they didn't feel like putting collabs on an album. So with with Hope it was different because they had Lions in the Wild. I just know that they have collabs coming up, Steven, but not sure with who. So we'll check it out, how this will all turn out then later on. Yeah, it will be tough, to say whether they will come back to something dirtier. It's very tough to say from today's perspective. So I will definitely follow this. I believe that third party in a situation or in a state that they can really do something what they enjoy, which is amazing for producers, that they don't have a certain pressure to be successful. Because I mean, for us, as long as it still sounds like third party, we will enjoy it still, and the fans will also enjoy it. Because I mean, if they can fill up a theater like this in Liverpool with people from not only the UK but also outside the UK, like for me, for example, from Austria, when I'm getting there, people from Germany are getting there, from Italy, from so many different countries. And it is it's very great to see that they really still enjoy what they're doing, and that they also take such an effort with the live show. So this is almost getting the same path as Eric Prydz, where Eric Prydz is now way rougher, because Eric Prydz is actually only doing this live show, so he's not releasing any music at all anymore. Okay, but that was that. I hope that you enjoyed my review. I'll also finish now over on Instagram. Thank you so much for watching this in-depth track-by-track review. And we will see how what the next album is going to be, or what I'm going to review. Usually I don't do that. I don't actually prepare like notes or something like this. But I believe in that case it was good that I did that, because it's always good to have an idea of what to talk about, especially if I wanted actually to take it a bit more serious this time, although with Northern Lights it was tough because I like the track so much, but this is all personal preference, so some people enjoy maybe this track more, this track more. So yeah, hope that you enjoyed it, and yeah, I believe as it's already very late, I believe I will stop it also now for my own Bisicast. Maybe I'll be back this week, maybe on Thursday, but we will see. I would have some tracks to play for sure, some very nice ones that were released last week and this week. But I believe for tonight it was enough. It was very emotional. I loved what I did. Actually, I enjoyed third parties' music. I enjoyed to review it the way I did, and I hope you enjoyed it as well. And yeah, don't forget for the Release family, of course. One last public announcement. You may already saw it. We have a collaboration this time with the event, and we will organize a Release family meetup in London before the Ministry of Sound event. So definitely, if you're in London for Ministry of Sound, full third party, definitely check it out. Come to us and talk to us, talk about the album, talk about the boys, and of course other Release records, signees like, for example, Pete K, Sepjack, and of course others. So yeah, it's definitely a great way, to talk about our different opinions, to just have a drink, spend some time together. So we did this in Liverpool, and it was absolutely amazing. We had all a great time, and I can only recommend coming there when you are around London. Yeah, so thank you very much for watching, and hope to see you on the next Bisicast. And keep up to date on my socials when the next one is going to be. Thank you very much, and bye.